Hi, it's Valerie from A Stitch in Life. Drinking some coffee as usual. It's afternoon time. I'm Swedish, so all those Swedes out there know that it's always coffee time. So I wanted to show you. It doesn't look like anything. You can kind of see what that is right there. It is the complete book of sewing, and it is from, I'll tell you the year. I got this for a birthday present. Oh my gosh, it has to be like 10 years ago now. From a friend of mine that I used to work with in theater, and I absolutely love it. It says copyright 1943, which it does look like in here. But it has, I don't know if it's a complete book of sewing, but it does tell you how to alter patterns, how to cut patterns, how to sew with patterns, how to put on bias tape, how to finish seams. Sorry, my daughter's playing with her play kitchen. So it also tells you how to style some things. So the thing I'm going to look at today is this. Isn't that cute? Basically, you could alter any dress or shirt or blouse or whatever into looking vintage by adding like this right here. This is just a whole separate piece that goes on top. Isn't that cute? Or to style it with a little scarf that make it look like a bow, or this is a little bit of a bigger one. But I'll show you. I used to buy just t-shirts and do this with. This is the last one that I have. It's way too small for me, but I used to sell these. This one, isn't that cute? I like it because it has the kind of the raglan sleeve, but then it has this big collar piece, or not collar, but like the neckline piece here. And then I put, this bow is kind of flat now, but I put this satin, it is satin bow on here. And when it's pressed, it looks really cute, even, you know, floppy like that. It just adds like a vintage touch to it. Other ones I've done like a keyhole neckline here, and then like one little button right across here. Oh, kind of like this, right there. But made it lower than that. That's really high for a t-shirt. Anyways, it just adds that little vintage touch, and it changes the garment completely. Oh, here's some other ones. Those are more like square, V-neck. This one is ruched over to the shoulder. Pretty cute stuff. Oh, I like this one. Anyways. Oh, it even says what they're called, some of them. But this book is just cute in general, just for inspiration. They give you some ideas, and they talk about utility garments because it's during the war. Look at that. Pretty cute. Pretty cool. So this is like a little piece of history here. It also tells you like fabrics, how to test them to see if they're going to work for your garment, or if you could press them or not, stuff like that. Anyways, I also wanted to show you some garments that I have made that I am going to put up in my Poshmark closet. And the reason I wanted to show you, isn't this cute? So this one has the sheer overlay on top, and then this one is actually just the sheer here on the sleeves, but then I put it over, you see that kind of floral, it's what the facing is made out of here. Isn't that cool? But the reason I wanted to show you is because I hand crocheted this trim, and I used to do this if I couldn't find the perfect width trim or ruffly trim or length of a trim, I would just create it. Especially since I could just crochet. This one needs to be flattened out a little bit and pressed out. But this is like a really, really thin wool. You can see that it's thicker in spots because it's just hand spun. But then I crocheted and I made this little collar piece. My favorite is to do like pieces that go down like this, especially in kids' clothes, but it just needed something extra. I did use a vintage pattern for this, but it just needed that little extra pizzazz. So this will be in my shop. I made it years ago. It doesn't say the size, but I'll have the measurements on there. I would say about a size 8 to 10 modern size. Here's another one that I am sewing and I didn't finish yet, but this is a vintage dress and it has this, you know, little collar piece here, but then I put the lace on here and I still have to sew it. You can see it's still pinned. It just needed that extra, just the dark polka dots. I mean, the white polka dots on the dark navy, it wasn't that interesting, and it's probably why it was on the shelf for so long. See, it even has like a mark here. It's because it's white. It's very minimal, but I think it just makes it look so much cuter. Anyways, you could just do little things like that. That's why I always pick up trims at the thrift store, especially. I don't necessarily take them off of garments when I'm recycling them. I either make my trims from scratch or I find them secondhand, because trims can be expensive, especially if you buy a good amount of yardage. They can be expensive. This is another one that I made. It's a halter one. This fabric, it's a long one. See, this fabric is very cool. It's like this, let's see if it'll focus on it. It's like this really, it's not heavy. It's like a canvasy, I think it's a linen, I would say. Not cotton, but a linen. And it's just printed on one side, so it's just a print. But it has a nice weight to it. That's why I liked it for this dress, because it will definitely keep its shape down here. And I did add this little lace on the bottom, and then around the edges. But it just goes, you know, it does. I do have a button, and you can see that button there, and I snapped it here too, just to keep that underneath. Then it has this little gathered part right here, and then I did put the trim on here as well. So the back is open, as you can see, and it has a facing right here, and then a facing right here and here. When I've had other people try it on, it is pretty close right here, so it just depends on, you know, your size. I would also say this is an 8-10 because of it fits right on my dress form. These are just little crocheted pins that I've made, and I put it on when the model was wearing it. That's just vintage fabric, and this is just vintage fabric. Anyways, it's cute, right? I have the measurements on my website as well, or on my Poshmark. I just have these garments. I've made them over the years. These are the ones that I have left because, you know, I was doing shows and selling at shows, and then I just stopped for a while. Everything changed. I went to school, and I went to fashion design school. This was before fashion design school, or maybe it was during. Maybe it was in between years, and then I had to go back to school and just completely jump in. Anyways, so I just stopped doing it and they went into storage for a long time. But I love to design bright colors. Obviously, I wear bright colors all the time. I love to design bright colors. A lot of times I go towards like the 70s or the 60s, mainly because there was a lot of bright colors and I like the polyester. That sounds funny, but it keeps its shape. I love that it keeps its shape. It washes easily. It doesn't stain so easily. I mean, you can stain it, but it pretty much keeps its color, its richness, and I like how thick it can be. Like this white here on this one, it has heft to it. But it's not really thick. It's just, you know, it just has that look to it. And I like it. It's like a sculpture. Funny to say that. Hi, little baby girl. Then I have these, which I recently so these are wrap skirts. And then this is a polyester knit. It's stretchy. It reminded me of Bert and Ernie. But these are double paneled. The back is paneled. Very, very bright colors. It's a tulip, you know, style. It bells out. And then it has a waistband and a buttonhole or a buttonhole, yeah, for this to go through. And this one doesn't have a pocket, but some of them do have pockets. Anyways, they're just very light. They're very bright. They're easy to wear. My sister-in-law wears hers with a t-shirt. It looks great. Let me see if I have another one here. Oh yeah. Here's another one. This one I have a pocket on, and that's one thing that I like about these vintage books, because they give you inspiration for vintage pockets. I worked on a show one time. I used to work in theater, and I worked on a show. It was The Diary of Anne Frank, and we had these garments already, so they didn't completely build the show from scratch, but the designer bought these vintage clothes, or vintage looking clothes, and then we added, I was like, what if we just add like these pockets to make it look more vintage? And so that's what we did. We created all these vintage style pockets to go on these garments, and it turned out really cute. But anyways, so this is kind of one of those things, but since it's upcycled, you can see what it is. It's the back half of a little girl's dress bodice, like the top of her dress. See, this is the armhole. This is the neckline. This is the center back. I think it even has the buttonholes there. But I just turned it this way, and I was like, that kind of looks like a cute pocket. And I put it on some of the garments. There's one. I think this one has one too. Yeah. So, anyways, that's another way to style a garment to make it look vintage, you know. There it is. You see that? And if you go like this, it's a little girl's top. So I tried to just use upcycled garments, because as we know, a lot of garments end up in landfills if they are not used. So this is also a knit, a vintage knit. So yeah, those are some of my garments I have left over. I'm about to post them on Poshmark if you want to go look. It's A Stitch in Life at Poshmark. So yeah, thank you. Leave me a message or a comment if you want to know more about vintage styling. I'm gonna do some of it here pretty soon, and I'll post it. Thanks for watching. Bye.